Hello, I'm Graham Payne from the Mid-Essex Budgies Society. I'd like to talk to you today about crop feeding and what I feel are the benefits of doing that. I've been observing my birds very, very closely over the last year or so, and one of the main concerns I have is feather loss. We all have problems from time to time. Some people stick their head out and say, oh, I've got French moult. Others will say, it's stress moult. But whatever, it's an issue. Personally, after what I've discovered, I actually think that most people are affected by stress moult and not French moult as they would have themselves believe. And let me quantify that. I now watch all of my nests. If ever I find a chick that is slightly down on weight, I'll top it up with a feed. If I see a feather that's fallen out of a chick, alarm bells start ringing, and that chick then gets fed twice a day by me. Let me explain the reason why I'm doing it. A hen, when she's feeding babies, has crop milk which is very, very rich. And the chicks grow quite quickly. Then the feathers start to come along, and the hen, if she's a good mother, she'll keep feeding, and you'll see full crops on your birds. When they start to get nearly fully feathered, that's when I think the problems start to occur. One, the hen can quite easily go into, oh, I think I'm going to start laying again mode. And that's when I think you see the chicks starting to appear at the hole because they're begging the cocks to feed them because the hen is no longer doing what the hen has done all this time. So as a matter of practice now, I check the birds, the babies, on a regular basis. And if I notice their breastbones are starting to be prominent, then I'll feed them. Because it's a sure sign, if weight is being lost, that the hen is no longer feeding properly. Now sometimes you can be lucky, the cock will come in, he will feed as well. But I'm still convinced that the cock comes into his own more as the chicks get older. He doesn't have the same quality of milk come seed combination which the young chicks need for growth. So doing various checks that I've done, I've now stopped any problems that I previously had with feather loss, or stress moult, or French moult. But it means that I have to feed these youngsters twice a day. Now what I'll do now, I'll take you into my kitchen where I'll prepare the food, show you the needles, and explain what we're doing. Hello, right, now we're in the kitchen. I tend to use NutriBird A21, which you can buy from any top stockist. I get mine from Sam Ones. A pot of this size, which I think is 800 grams, is £11. You can get a 3 kilo container for about £25, which works out obviously a lot cheaper, and you can keep topping up the small one. Crop needles come in different sizes. Budgie one is what they call a 14, which is this one here. The next one down is the 16. Now the 16 is marginally thinner, about the same length. I use two different crop needles because I want to know which one is for what purpose. The big one, the 14, I use for general feeding to the birds. If I have birds with any issues or I'm concerned about them, then I use the thinner one because sometimes the esophagus is slightly tighter and it makes it easier to get down and apply what I'm trying to get into the bird. So on the NutriBird, it's a very, very simple process. I just put a spoonful into a tub. I run the hot water tap for a little while just to get it up to a reasonable temperature. I use my crop needle as my stirrer, adding a drop of water as we go. You don't want to put too much water in because it's like everything in life, you can always add, but you can't take it away. and you want to get the mixture like a double cream, really. You don't want it too runny. It will actually start to go off a little bit. It tends to set, so you really don't want to make it too thick. It will take time. You do need to get all the lumps and bumps out of the way, and then by the time you're finished, you'll have a very nice smooth mixture. Right, that really doesn't take that long at all. And I now just test the liquid out to make sure it goes up into the syringe okay. And as you can see, it's filled up very nicely. So let's just push that back. That always tends to happen. I'll wash it, and we'll go out and feed some birds. Right, going back to the reason why I think there's an added benefit to giving them the liquid milk is that birds have a natural mechanism. I'm convinced now that their bodies tell them when they have to shut down. And I'm getting back to feather loss again here, because imagine looking in a nest and a youngster's no longer getting fed. You can see sometimes that the skin is starting to dry, so that means the bird is suffering from hydration. So by giving this milk, you're rehydrating the body. Now, these little birds, obviously, when they're under duress, their bodies are under duress. If you think about it logically, what are they going to do? They've got to shut down. And the one thing that draws more energy than anything is the feathers. And the main feathers are the primaries and the tails. So you can understand, when you think about the mechanics of it, why birds perhaps do lose their feathers. And yes, it is stress. Their bodies are getting stressed because they're no longer getting that really good input of food, and they're struggling. Just think about it a little bit. So let's start now. I'm going to feed a baby, or top a baby up. So I'm not going to give it too much. So I'm going to take the bigger tube. I'm just going to draw in now. Right, I've got about 3 ml in there. Now, you enter in on the right hand side of the bird, try and get it under the tongue, and then as you come into the esophagus, you can actually see the crop needle. And now I'm just starting to apply pressure now. Now, you enter in on the right hand side of the bird, try and get it under the tongue, and then as you come into the esophagus, you can actually see the crop needle. And now I'm just starting to apply pressure now. While you're feeding them. Okay, we're ready for the next one. Now this little chap, unfortunately, has got a slightly misformed beak. I hadn't spotted that the food had built up inside the lower mandible, and he's unfortunately misformed. I'm keeping it trimmed, but I'm also keeping him topped up with food. So, sitting him into my hand, crop needle in on the right hand side, to get under the tongue, It's a little bit difficult sometimes because they do make a fuss. And then coming at an angle. Can you see the angle this is coming at? And see how far that needle has gone down. I'm now gently squeezing the food in. Always do it very, very slowly, because if you by any chance have gone down the trachea, which is the passageway to the lungs, the bird will start to regurgitate and it will come out through the nostrils. At that point you need to be very bold. You just wipe everything off and then go back in again. Well, this little chap now has got a good crop full of food. Because of his size, I could quite easily get another 5 in. But we'll save that for later on. And I like to try and give birds like this 5 in the mornings and 5 meals in the evening. And then during the day, plenty of millet to give them encouragement to feed themselves. With another chick for you. So just pull everything back, come in from the right hand side. Can you see the tongue? I'm going to try and go under that tongue and then pushing gently over to the left hand side. I'm in position. I'm now starting to squeeze and the food is going nicely into the crop. Gently draw it back out again, and that's how quick it is. Another bird fed. Since I've been doing this, I have now had the best breeding season I have ever had. I have bred right the way through 2018 and my birds are still going. In previous years, had I got to late summer, French molt, stress molt, call it what you like, would have come into play. It just hasn't. But you have to do the husbandry. You have to make sure you're on top of it. If you don't, then things will happen. It's nature. But you can help yourselves to have a much better season. And for £15, I think it's a no-brainer. Good luck.